Okay, now I'm going to show you how to document telephone calls. So there are two different types of telephone call documentation. The first type of documentation is basically a billable note. So that would include either if you are scheduled for a telephone visit or if you did an impromptu telephone call where you took some form of history and came up with a plan. That's the first type of telephone call, which would be billable. The second type of telephone call is a simpler version where it's an extension of the visit. So you had a visit with a patient, their labs came back, you wanted to call the patient and tell them that their labs looked normal, or that they were abnormal and what the additional plan was. But it's not a billable visit, and again, it's an extension of the actual visit. So let me show you how to do the extension of a visit because that is easier. So what you'll do is you'll click on the visit type. You will go to, so you will find your clinic visit. So let's say if it was this one, so let's say this was my office visit, I would click on this. Then I would go to new visit and I would click historical visit. So as you can see here, it's a visit that occurred at some time in the past or some other location possibly, but is not non-VA, but is not used for workload credit. Basically, this will allow you to not have to bill for the visit. So you'll click OK. You'll click here telephone note, and I will say called patient to review labs from 7/22/2020. Discussed that labs looked good. So then I'll go to sign note, and as you can see, I won't have to put any sort of billing in. That's how you know you did it correctly. Let's show you the other type, which is either a scheduled telephone visit or sort of an impromptu telephone call, again, where you take a history. So what you'll do is, if it's a scheduled visit, your telephone clinic will be here. If it's impromptu, you would go to new visit, and for mine is WX Pact Tele. And so yours will be essentially whatever site you work at, followed by Pact Tele, and I'm letter I. Again, I'm not going to click historical visit. So I'm going to click new note and do telephone, and let's say spoke to patient about headache, likely tension, take Tylenol. Okay, so then you're going to do sign note now. This time you're going to have to code for it because it is a billable visit. And so what you're going to do is, it's not related to military sexual trauma. Diagnoses, you can either click one here or you can type in headache. Okay, and then you'll go to procedures, and then it depends on how long you spent. Let's say I spent 5 to 10 minutes on the phone. You would click OK, and that would be your telephone note. So that would be an impromptu note. Let's say that you had a scheduled telephone note time. So again, it would be WX Pact Tele. And let me show you how to use the new telephone template. This is relatively new, so the kinks are being worked out, but you would click on primary care telephone note. And then basically you just click every box that you want to. So chief complaint, HPI, if you want to add their past medical history, review a system social. I'm not going to click off all of these, but as much as you did, you would click off. Return to clinic, I have assessment and plan. Click OK. Let's see, I guess I didn't click off on something here. Let's say 15 minutes, greater than 50%. Click OK. All right, so one of the more important things of the note is making sure that you have this attestation at the end, which is how long you spent with the patient. This will assure that gets the proper amount of reimbursement. So again, you'll go to sign note. You'll have to enter the information, and it's already entered for us, and you would hit OK. So that shows you how to do both types of telephone visits. Again, an extension of a visit telephone call without taking a history and coming up with a plan. That's one that you do not code for. You would click as a historical visit. And then if it is either a scheduled telephone visit or an impromptu telephone call where you are taking a history, doing some form of exam and coming up with an assessment plan, that would be one that you code for.